Visit sayrite.com for all your project supplies, tools, and instructions. In this tutorial video, we're going to show you how to install bottom stops and top stops on number 5 metal chain zippers. This is a number 5 continuous metal chain zipper. In other words, you just cut it to length, whatever length you want. You can install what we call a bottom stop, which is this, and a top stop at the other end on the two sides here. So this is a top stop and this is a bottom stop. To do that, take your length of zipper and separate the ends. When you zoom in here, you'll see that there are little teeth that protrude up. You can see the little, almost looks like an arrow. Your slider will go on and moves easier that way. So the end of the slider, the fat side of the slider goes on and it easily zips this direction. If you put it on going this way, going against the arrows, it doesn't slide nearly as easily. So because of that, this, where the arrows are pointing up, will be the bottom of our zipper. So we're going to go ahead, before we put the bottom stops on, and we're going to insert the slider just by feeding it through evenly and pulling it into place like that. Okay, it'll move easily if you separate the teeth before the slider, and it's just a super smooth, easy movement. So now that the slider's on, separate the bottom because you're going to have to remove some of these teeth. Now our objective is to remove the metal teeth without hurting the zipper's flange. I'm going to remove about 4 or 5 teeth. I can use needle nose. You have to be careful not to destroy the zipper's flange, so you got to do this carefully. But you can see I've kind of got the teeth in here and I'm kind of just separating the bottom half a little bit, and then I'll take some needle nose sometimes and I just pull on that. But usually the first tooth will destroy the tape if you're not careful, so I'm going to try to remove it with the needle nose, or with the wire cutters. So that one's gone. Let's melt the end of the zipper a little bit because it's kind of coming apart with our hot knife. This is the Sayrite Edge hot knife. That should keep that from happening. And let's remove the second one in the same manner. So be patient, and sometimes people just pull them off with needle nose pliers. That can sometimes work too. So that one's kind of separated. We can kind of pull it off with our fingers, and then let's move on to the next one. So you see the process here. We're going to do this to this side, and then we're going to do it to the other side as well. And we're not really damaging the flange. You can kind of see I'm just kind of separating it by prying it up a little bit, and then use my fingernails to get it off. So let's get them off, and I'll show you what's next. We'll be installing the bottom and top stops with standard tools, but at the end of the video we're going to show a special tool where if you have to install a lot, you might want to consider purchasing it. So here's the bottom stop. It looks like an X for the metal teeth. And I'm going to take my needle nose and I'm going to insert it so that I have half of the X. I'm going to take my flange through the needle nose like that, and then I'm going to position it over the flange and right next to that tooth and depress it slightly. Now this is only temporarily holding it in place because we need to crimp it even more. Then I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to grab the other side with my needle nose and position it into the flange like so. Make sure it's all the way in there. Hope you can see that. And then I'm going to depress it slightly. That's perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take kind of like a mallet, and I'm just going to tap it ever so gently. And I'll probably do it on both sides to make sure that it's crimped on well. And our bottom stop is now installed. So the zipper will go down to here. So after you're done, your teeth will be apart here,
And you can simply take a standard tool and just kind of push them together until they mate. And then it'll be that way permanently. So I'm going to try to, there we go. So now they're mated together. So now when the slider comes down, look at that. So the slider comes down and it'll always be professionally closed just like that. Now if you damage your flange a little bit, you can carefully, and I say carefully because you could melt the flange and you don't want to do that. You could just tap it with a hot knife a little bit. You don't want it to burn at all, you don't want it to brown, but that can sometimes repair the flange. Our flange is not in bad shape. So now for the top stops. So they're nothing more than a chunk of metal like that. And we're going to do the same thing, or a little C I should say. We're going to put them in our needle nose by grabbing them like that. We're going to push it onto the end. This end, you could put a bottom stop here if you want to on both ends, but this is typically what's done, a top stop. And then we're going to do the same thing to this side over here. And I'm going to use my little mallet because I don't want to put imprints in it. You could also crimp it with your needle nose and do that, but sometimes you get the little teeth imprint of the needle nose on the metal. So let's put one over here and we'll show you what it looks like, how it performs after this.
Next, we'll show the zipper stops pliers.
These are zipper stop pliers. They're a little bit expensive, but they really are nice, especially if you're installing a lot of end stops or bottom stops. So there's what the teeth look like, and let's just start with the bottom stop. It goes on in like this, right up against the metal edge. Okay, and then I've already prepared a zipper for this. We just put them on like here, and you give it a squeeze, and that one's installed very well. Then you turn it over like this, and you put it in again. So I'm going to do a side profile so you can see it, just like that. And then you just simply move your tape over, make sure that it's in all the way, and I hope you can see the side profile. Crimp it again. Voila. For the top stop, very small, it is basically done kind of in the same manner. It goes in like that. The tool holds it beautifully. Now there's already a stop on this, but we're just going to demonstrate it here by putting it on right above this. I'll just give it a crimp, and that one is installed beautifully as well. So this tool is available from Sailrite if you don't want to use standard tools. It does cost a little bit more. Our slider slides up, runs into the stops. You can remove as many teeth as you want to put the stops wherever you'd like. And if we go all the way to the bottom, stops right there as well.
Order your zippers and zippers accessories at Sailrite.com. I'm Eric Grant, and from all of us here at Sailrite, thanks for watching.